Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where you're constantly on a roller coaster of emotions, feeling stuck, but unsure if it's truly love keeping you there? You might be experiencing a trauma bond. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what signs to look out for, and how to differentiate between a healthy relationship and a toxic trauma bond. In a trauma bond, the relationship often feels like a never-ending emotional roller coaster. One day, you're over the moon, feeling like you're finally understood and loved, and the next, you're plunged into feelings of betrayal, abandonment, or disappointment. Healthy love doesn't come with this constant turbulence. While every relationship has ups and downs, a trauma bond is often defined by extreme highs followed by extreme lows, making you feel like you're stuck in an addictive cycle. Feeling powerless to leave. Do you ever feel like you want to leave but can't? In a trauma bond, people often feel powerless to walk away, even when they know the relationship isn't good for them. It's a complex psychological attachment, rooted in survival instincts rather than genuine affection. This isn't the butterflies feeling or genuine attachment, it's a feeling of being controlled or even entrapped by the relationship dynamics. It's a sign that the attachment may be more about fear than love. Intensity over intimacy. Now, let's talk about the difference between intensity and intimacy. Trauma bonds often create a very intense connection, but that doesn't mean it's intimate. Intimacy is about vulnerability, trust, and a deep sense of mutual understanding. In a trauma bond, there's usually intensity in the form of arguments, dramatic reconciliations, or jealousy. This intensity can feel like passion, but it's often just a way to keep you hooked and prevent genuine intimacy from developing. Real love feels steady and safe, not like a constant rush of adrenaline. Confusing pain with love. A major sign of a trauma bond is when you begin to confuse pain with love. If a relationship is causing you more hurt than joy, yet you interpret that as a sign of how much you care, or how strong your connection is, it's worth questioning. Trauma bonds thrive on emotional turmoil, making it easy to mistake the rush of emotions for passion or love. True love, however, doesn't come with a constant sense of pain or sacrifice. Feeling dependent on their validation. Do you find yourself relying on your partner's approval or affection to feel good about yourself? In trauma bonds, there's often an intense need for validation from the other person. Your self-worth may start to revolve around how they treat you on any given day. If they're affectionate, you feel on top of the world. But if they're cold or distant, it can feel devastating. This dependency can trap you in a cycle of seeking their approval, even if the relationship isn't healthy. Repeating patterns from past trauma. Trauma bonds often arise in relationships that unconsciously mirror past traumas. If you've experienced abandonment, neglect, or abuse in the past, you might find yourself drawn to people who recreate similar dynamics, even if it's unintentional. This isn't because you want to be hurt, it's usually due to unhealed wounds. The mind can sometimes confuse familiarity with love, even when it's unhealthy. Justifying their toxic behavior. Do you ever find yourself justifying or defending toxic behavior? In a trauma bond, you may go to great lengths to rationalize their actions, even when they're clearly harmful or disrespectful. You might tell yourself things like, they had a rough childhood, or, they only act this way because they love me so much. In reality, these excuses prevent you from seeing the situation clearly. Real love doesn't require you to justify harmful actions. Ignoring your own needs for theirs. The last major sign of a trauma bond is when you constantly ignore your own needs in favor of theirs. In a healthy relationship, there's a balance of give and take, where both partners' needs matter. But in a trauma bond, you might find yourself sacrificing your own well-being just to keep the peace or to make the other person happy. Over time, this can lead to burnout, low self-esteem, and even a loss of identity. True love should uplift and support you, not require you to constantly set aside your own needs. How to break free from a trauma bond. Recognizing a trauma bond is the first step. Breaking free, however, takes time and support. It often involves healing past traumas, learning to set boundaries, and rebuilding your self-esteem. Therapy, journaling, and self-care practices are all powerful tools for reclaiming your sense of self. Remember, real love shouldn't feel like a trap or a burden. You deserve a relationship where you feel safe, respected, and valued. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, Share it with someone who might need to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful videos on relationships and self-growth. Have you ever experienced something like a trauma bond? Drop a comment below.